You lie on your back, and everything begins with stillness. The hush of your breath, the soft pull of the blanket, the quiet room holding you gently. But beyond your ceiling, above the trees and rooftops and layers of cloud, there is a vast silence older than time as you know it. A silence not empty, but filled with the echo of a beginning. Close your eyes. Imagine the darkness not as absence, but as presence. A soft black fabric stretching in all directions, endless and cradling. And then, in that fabric, a ripple, a blooming, not a bang as some might imagine. A sudden roar and flash, but something more like a breath held too long, finally exhaled. The birth of everything, the Big Bang. You've heard the name before, but tonight you don't just hear it. You float within it. You are not separate from this event. The hydrogen in your body, the calcium in your teeth, the oxygen in your lungs, they all trace their ancestry to that first glowing moment 13.8 billion years ago, when the universe was smaller than a pearl and infinitely more dense. It wasn't an explosion into space. There was no space yet. No before. It was the beginning of space, the invention of time, the first flicker of temperature and expansion. One moment there was nothing, and then suddenly there was everything. You drift with that thought. Let it rest on your chest like a warm stone. What does it mean that something came from nothing? That time began? It's a question too big to hold in the daylight, but at night, in this quiet moment, your mind opens just wide enough to let it pass through. The heat of that birth still lingers. It cooled as the universe stretched, like breath fogging up a window and fading slowly. That warmth became light. That light became stars. And those stars, well, some of them burned out long before your grandparents were born. Yet their glow still travels. The sky is a time machine made of photons. You picture it now. The early universe, a soup of particles and energy, chaos wrapped in possibility. Nothing solid. No atoms, no galaxies, no planets. Just light, racing out in every direction. The echo of the Big Bang is not a sound we can hear, but it's still there. It lives in the microwaves that fill the universe. Gentle, ancient radiation. Soft static left on the dial of time. And in your body something listens. Not with ears, but with awareness. The atoms that make you, they carry that memory etched into their structure. A resonance, faint but unbroken. Your thoughts wander to the edge of the observable universe. Their light has traveled for nearly 14 billion years to reach us. That light left before Earth existed, before the sun formed, before galaxies were shaped by the dance of gravity. When it began its journey, there were no eyes to see it. Now here you are. You are both tiny and ancient, small enough to be wrapped in a bed and held by sleep, old enough, cosmically speaking, to carry a lineage stretching back to the very first second. You don't need to understand every detail to feel the enormity of that truth. Breathe in, breathe out. The same forces that set the cosmos into motion hum quietly in the cells of your chest. At first, the newborn universe was too hot for matter to form. Energy collided with energy, creating particles that vanished again almost as quickly. Then, as things cooled, particles clung together, protons, neutrons, electrons, like snowflakes forming from storm clouds. And in that moment, the building blocks of everything were born. It's strange to think that everything you know, oceans, birds, mountains, your heartbeat, came from that early storm, from particles cooled by time and shaped by gravity's slow insistence. You are not apart from the universe. You are not watching it from the outside. You are made of it as surely as a wave is part of the sea. It took time for light to become visible. At first, the universe was too dense, too thick for light to travel freely. It was like fog with no wind. But then, after about 380,000 years, a moment of clarity. Light broke free. The universe became transparent. That light is still around us, still drifting, still whispering. You can almost feel it, like warmth that isn't temperature, or a glow that isn't seen. The echo of a moment when things became visible. And here you are, billions of years later, lying in the dark, sensing the shape of something you cannot touch. Sometimes we imagine the Big Bang as something that happened long ago, far away. But that's not quite right. It didn't happen somewhere, it happened everywhere. Space itself was born in that moment. So no matter where you are now, you're sitting in the middle of the unfolding. The whisper is all around you, in starlight, in gravity, in breath. You close your eyes and see it. A bright, blooming center with tendrils of time stretching out like branches. Your life somewhere far out on one of those branches, but still part of the same tree. The stars are older than stories, older than memory, but the universe remembers, keeps records in radiation, in motion, in dust. Your thoughts float again, soft as dandelion seeds, to a time when there was no earth, only light moving outward. And that light, it's still moving. Some of it might reach your window tonight, quietly tapping, asking to be noticed. Perhaps you've noticed it before without knowing. A feeling of wonder under a clear sky. The hush of awe when you see stars appear one by one. That feeling has a name: recognition. The echo of the beginning recognizes something in you, and you recognize something in it. That whisper hasn't ended. It just keeps stretching, like soft thread through the quilt of space. And now, as your body grows heavier with sleep, you realize you're not falling away from the world. You're drifting deeper into it. Drifting, still listening, still held by the same forces that once sparked everything into motion. And somewhere in that motion, light begins to arrive, slowly, soft and ancient, a message from the past, making its way to you in the quiet of now. And that's where we'll go next. You are lying still, and above you light is traveling. Not just flickering, not just shining, but journeying. Across unimaginable distances, through the quiet vacuum of space, through years so vast they dissolve into a kind of forever. And yet somehow it arrives. Here, now, touching your skin, soft as a sigh. It might glance across your pillow or settle faintly on your closed eyelids. That light began moving long before your name existed. Light doesn't age the way you do. It doesn't tire. It simply moves at one speed, unwavering, from the moment it is born. A photon, a single particle of light, leaves its home, perhaps inside the heart of a dying star, and begins its journey across time. Some of that light is older than the earth, older than trees, older than oceans. It has passed comets and collapsed suns. It has crossed through entire galaxies, unbothered, unchanged. It carries with it the story of where it came from, a silent, shining message. When you look at the stars, you are not seeing them as they are. You are seeing them as they were. Because even though light moves fast, faster than anything, it still takes time. The light from our sun takes a little over 8 minutes to reach you. The light from Alpha Centauri, the nearest star system, takes over 4 years. And the most distant light we can observe? It began its journey over 13 billion years ago. This means the night sky is not a picture of now. It's a layered memory, a patchwork of moments from the deep past. Every twinkle is a timestamp. You live inside a museum of ancient light. And in that light, something remarkable is happening. It bends. Not because it's tired or uncertain, but because the fabric of space itself curves around mass. Around stars. Around planets. Around you. Einstein once said that light will always follow the straightest possible path. But that path isn't always straight. It curves when space curves. And space curves when gravity speaks. So the journey of light is not a line. It's a thread sewn through the shape of the cosmos. Sometimes pulled. Sometimes redirected. But always moving forward. Imagine this: a photon is created inside a star. Before it can escape into space, it spends thousands, sometimes millions of years bouncing around inside that star's core. It ricochets endlessly, absorbed and re-emitted by atoms in the plasma soup of stellar fire. Only when it finally escapes the star's surface does it begin its straight-line journey to you. And that part, that final leg of the journey, might take mere seconds, or billions of years. And so, when a photon finally reaches your eye, it's not just a visitor. It's a survivor, a messenger from a place and time you can't visit, but that you can feel. Let your mind drift with it, through cold, silent corridors of interstellar space, past vast clouds of gas where new stars are born, past the black outlines of planets orbiting quietly, unseen, through the thin light of distant galaxies, like candle smoke on velvet. It drifts until it finds you, until it lands on your skin or your window or the still surface of your eye. And in that moment, time folds, because you are now part of its journey. You are the destination it has been moving toward since before your ancestors walked upright. You are where it stops. This is not just poetry. It is real. Every photon is a traveler, and you are its shore. Light is strange in other ways, too. It does not experience time. From the photon's own point of view, which is difficult to imagine, since photons don't have experiences, there is no before and after. The moment it is emitted is the same moment it is absorbed. For light, there is only here. So, when ancient starlight reaches you, it's not that it's old. It's that you're catching up to something that's always been on its way to you. That may sound impossible, but it's simply how the universe works. Light shows us the shape of things. Without it, there would be no color, no sight, no shadows. But more than that, light is information. Carries data about where it came from, what temperatures it passed through, what gases it slipped by. Astronomers decode that light like a language. They read it in squiggles and spectrums and silent pulses. And from those clues, they build entire pictures of faraway galaxies. Long dead stars, planets we will never walk upon. You too can read that light, not with numbers, but with feeling. You know the difference between morning and dusk. You know the blue of noon, the amber of late afternoon, the lavender of twilight. These colors are the language of scattering, of sunlight filtered by air, bent gently by atmosphere. Even the way your room dims at sunset is a lesson in optics, a soft classroom that never speaks, but always teaches. And what about the moon? It doesn't shine on its own. It only reflects. Its light is borrowed, bounced off the sun and softened. When moonlight spills across your floor at night, it is secondhand starlight. Every beam, every glow borrowed, bent, delayed, but still arriving. Sometimes light doesn't reach us at all. It's swallowed by black holes, or scattered by dust, or simply travels in a direction we'll never be. And yet we are surrounded by enough of it to see, to know, to imagine. You've felt it before, even if you didn't know the words. That hush when standing beneath stars. The feeling that something is touching you across time. That is light. Patient, persistent, ancient light. And even now, with your eyes closed, you're still bathed in it. Infrared warmth, ultraviolet ghosts, microwave traces from the beginning of time. Light that does not require vision to be real. You don't need to see the stars to be shaped by them. And the most haunting part? Light can leave before a star dies. So sometimes you see a star that's no longer there. Its light still arriving, even though its body has long since gone dark. You're seeing a memory, a last transmission, a goodbye that hasn't finished being said. There's something comforting in that the past isn't gone, that its signals are still traveling, that the universe is filled with quiet, persistent messages, waiting to be caught. And here you are catching one. You don't chase light, you simply receive it. And in receiving, you become part of the story. Tonight, as you drift deeper into rest, you imagine yourself not as a point of stillness, but as a moment of meeting, a place where ancient light finally arrives. And beyond that light, beyond even the stars, there's something fainter still, a deeper glow, too low for your eyes to see, but not too quiet to matter, because the sky is not silent. And next, you will hear why. You lie still beneath the ceiling of your room, but the universe continues above and around you, vast, deep, and softly humming. Not with music you can hear, not with the sharpness of melody or the rhythm of drums, but with something gentler, a whisper too wide to notice, a vibration so old it has become a kind of silence. But the sky is not silent, carries a sound older than stars, a sound not made with air, not carried through wind or wood, but etched into the fabric of space itself. A glow, a warmth, a radiation so faint, so constant, that it is everywhere. This is the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang. And whether you know it or not, You've been bathing in it all your life. When the universe was young, still new, still fire and chaos, it was hot. So hot that light couldn't move freely. Photons were trapped, bumping into particles like crowds in a tightly packed room. But then, after about 380,000 years, the universe cooled just enough. Particles settled down. Atoms formed. And suddenly, light was free. That first light was brilliant. It moved outward in every direction, filling the newborn universe with a soft radiance. Over billions of years, that light stretched and stretched, losing energy as space itself expanded. It cooled, mellowed, slipped into a gentler frequency. Today, that ancient light hums quietly as microwaves. Not the kind in your kitchen, but the kind that form an invisible backdrop to everything. It is not loud. It does not flash. But it is always there. If your eyes could see microwaves, the sky would never be dark. Even in the deepest night, the air would glow faintly with the soft blush of the universe's memory. In 1965, two scientists, Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson, accidentally discovered this hum. They were trying to tune a radio telescope, but no matter where they pointed it, they heard a faint static. Came from every direction. It wasn't the Earth. It wasn't the sun. It wasn't a machine. It was the universe itself. They had heard the echo of the beginning. And now, as you lie in the quiet, you can imagine it surrounding you. This faint, even signal everywhere, constant. A perfect stillness filled with an ancient glow. It's not sound, and yet it speaks. Not music, and yet it sings. It tells us the story of the early universe, not with words, but with temperature. Tiny variations in that microwave background, just a fraction of a degree warmer or cooler, show us where galaxies would someday form, where gravity would gather matter, where emptiness would stretch. These are the fingerprints of creation, and they are pressed into the very shape of space. The cosmic microwave background, CMB for short, is not something that changes. It's not a passing wave. It's a fossil, a photograph of the universe when it was just a baby, only a few 100,000 years old. When you look at it, you are looking at the oldest light that can ever be seen. Nothing comes before it, and it is all around you. Even now, a small part of the static between radio channels is caused by this glow. Even now, that radiation gently passes through your body. It does no harm. It brings no heat. It simply is. Like the hum of an old refrigerator, like the hush of a forest in winter. It fills the silence with something softer. Let that idea settle into you. The sky is not empty. It is filled with memory. Not loud or bright or urgent, but ever present. You are always held within it, even when you're not looking up. And because this microwave glow is everywhere, it means something else. No matter where you are in the universe, the echo surrounds you. If you were on a faraway planet, orbiting a distant sun, you'd still hear it. That hum would still be there. It's like a cosmic cradle song. One that doesn't fade. One that holds every galaxy, every moon, every thought, including yours. You are not outside of that sound. You are not a visitor. You are part of the chorus. And as the universe continues to expand, the microwave background will keep stretching. It will cool even further, becoming longer in wavelength, softer in tone. One day, far in the future, it may become too faint to measure. But tonight, it is still here, still humming, still whispering in the language of temperature and time. And you, just by existing, are listening. The stars have their light, but the universe itself has its glow. A dim warmth from the past. A quiet echo of everything that once was. You wrap yourself in it now without even meaning to. It settles over you like fog over a still lake. It holds you the way dusk holds shadow, gently, without weight. There is music in the silence. There is sound in the stillness. And just beyond it, if you listen closely, time itself begins to shift. You lie in the quiet and time feels gentle. Not like the ticking of clocks or the rush of minutes, but something deeper. Slower. A current beneath your breath pulling you forward, not fast, not loud, just steady. But the truth is, time is not what it seems. It does not pass the same for everyone, everywhere. It bends. It stretches. It moves like honey in the cold, thick in some places, thin in others. The pace of time depends on where you are, how fast you're moving, and what pulls on you with invisible hands. You feel time every day. In the way a memory fades. In the way your body slows when you're tired. But what you feel is only your version of time, your local rhythm. And the universe allows many. High above you, satellites orbit the Earth. They carry atomic clocks more precise than anything you could imagine. And those clocks tick just slightly faster than the ones down here. Not because the machines are broken, but because gravity is weaker up there. Time flows faster the farther you are from mass. This is real. We have to account for it to make GPS work. Without correcting for the stretch of time, your phone would lead you miles away from where you stand. Gravity slows time. The more gravity pulls, the slower time moves. So near massive objects, like stars, black holes, even your planet, time thickens. Pauses. Like a breath held longer than expected. And light? Light is not immune to this. It still moves at the same speed, always. But when it escapes gravity, it loses energy. It shifts. It reddens. Like a voice growing softer as it climbs a mountain. You begin to realize time isn't a constant river. It's a fabric. And mass presses into it. The more mass, the deeper the dent, the slower the seconds. That's what Einstein showed us with general relativity. Gravity isn't just a force. It's the shape of time itself. You picture the Earth again, this time resting gently on that cosmic fabric. The weight of mountains, oceans, cities, it all pushes space and time downward. Not in a way you can see, but in a way the universe notices. Even your body, warm and resting, has mass. So you too leave a small mark in the fabric of time. A gentle imprint. A slowing of the world around you so slight it's unmeasurable, but real. And what about black holes? Their time all but stops. Near their edges, time slows to a crawl. A clock falling toward the event horizon would appear, from your point of view, to tick more and more slowly until it stops altogether. The moment is never quite finished. It just stretches endlessly. Imagine looking at a star being swallowed by a black hole. From a distance, you'd see it slow down, dim, fade, not into nothing, but into forever. To the falling star, time continues as normal. But to you, watching from afar, the fall becomes eternal. It's strange, isn't it? That time could be so personal. That it can be bent by gravity, stretched by speed, twisted by motion. Even on Earth, tiny differences exist. Time at the top of a mountain runs a little faster than time at the sea. The difference is small, but measurable. So when you climb, you age slightly faster. When you fly, you skip ahead. When you sleep, you are carried through one thread of time, but the universe holds many. And in dreams, time becomes even stranger. A moment might stretch into a lifetime. An hour of sleep may feel like minutes or days. Your brain is not a perfect clock. It drifts. It stretches events. It rewrites them. You are never quite sure how long something truly lasted. You only know how it felt. And that is another kind of time, subjective time. The time of memory. The time of emotion. The way 1 second in danger can feel like an hour, and 1 hour in joy can feel like a moment. You are the keeper of that time. It lives only in you. So when you say, "Where did the time go?" what you really mean is, why did it feel so fast? And when you say, "It felt like forever," you mean, time moved differently because I did. You see, clocks measure time in units. But you measure it in meaning. Let that comfort you. Because it means there's no perfect time. No single, correct version. Only flows and pulses. Only curves and tides. You are floating on one such tide now. Softly rocked by a planet's pull, a moon's dance, a sun's warmth. You are made of atoms whose vibrations define seconds. Your heart beats in patterns shaped by light. Your breath rises and falls in time with an ancient rhythm that began before you were born and will continue long after. And as you rest, the universe continues. Stars orbit slowly, galaxies drift, gravity pulls. Time flows. Not evenly. Not smoothly. But always forward unless, of course, you're light. Because light, you may recall, does not experience time at all. It is born and absorbed in the same instant. A photon travels across the universe without growing old. To a beam of light, 13 billion years is just now. And maybe that's why when you lie here, touched by starlight, you feel closer to the beginning. Closer to something infinite. Because in a way, you are. You exist in the slow fold of time. You carry with you seconds that stretch and bend. And the farther you imagine, the more slowly everything moves. So when you look up at the stars, you are not seeing the present. You are watching ancient moments arrive late, bent by gravity, slowed by distance, preserved by motion. The past is not behind you. It's above you. Around you. Still catching up. And as you begin to drift further into sleep, the lines between now and then, between near and far, begin to blur. And beneath it all, there is something else holding you. Something vast and invisible spun beneath the stars. You are lying on something, but not just your mattress. There is a deeper foundation beneath you, beneath your bed, beneath the floor, beneath the earth itself. Not made of wood or stone or metal, but something quieter. Something invisible, stretching through the universe like the silk threads of a vast and ancient spiderweb. It's not something you can touch, but it touches you. It shapes how planets move, how light bends, how galaxies form. It holds you gently, constantly, without pause. This is space-time, the fabric of everything. You might think of space as empty, a black stage where stars dance and planets spin. But space is not a backdrop, it is an actor, a living, shifting presence. Curves when there is mass. It ripples when disturbed, connects everything that exists. And time? Time is woven into it. Together, they form the single, inseparable fabric that underlies the cosmos. Not a sheet, but something more like a fluid net, stretching in all directions. You don't float above this fabric. You are part of it. Every atom in your body, every step you've taken, every breath you've drawn, woven into the same thread that connects suns and moons and galaxies too far away to name. Scientists have found that matter, even when it seems solid, is mostly empty space. Atoms are made of a tiny nucleus and distant electrons. Between them is nothing, but that nothing is shaped by forces, electromagnetic, gravitational, quantum, invisible threads that keep everything in place. So when you touch your chest or press your hand into the blanket, you are not touching something solid. You are feeling resistance, forces refusing to let your atoms pass through each other. Everything you touch is connection. Even your thoughts are patterns shaped by these forces. Neurons firing, ions moving, electricity flowing like ripples across a pond. The brain, too, is stitched into the fabric of reality. Now, picture the universe on a grand scale. Billions of galaxies, spread like pearls on a vast net. That net is the cosmic web. Filaments of dark matter and gas stretch between clusters of galaxies like threads of light connecting distant shores. You can't see it with your eyes, but telescopes and computer models reveal its lace-like structure. Where the filaments cross, galaxies are born. Where they stretch thin, space is quiet and dark. This web is not made of stars. It is the map on which stars are arranged. And this map is growing. The universe expands and the fabric stretches. Like dough rising, like a balloon inflating. As it expands, galaxies drift apart, riding the currents of the web. Not pulled by explosions, but carried gently by the shape of space itself. You are drifting with them even now. Not in a way you can feel, not in inches per hour, but in the grand, slow motion of everything. Your planet orbits the sun. The sun orbits the center of the Milky Way. The Milky Way is moving toward the Andromeda Galaxy, and both are part of a cluster that is itself sliding along a filament of the cosmic web. All motion everywhere is shaped by this invisible structure, even your sleep, because your body too is not separate from this web. It is a knot in the thread, pattern of energy, a brief, bright fold in the fabric. You are not apart from the universe. You are how it feels when a small part of itself becomes aware. And so, as you lie still, you are not disconnected. You are held by the curve of space-time beneath your spine, held by gravity's embrace, held by the gentle structure that binds atoms into molecules, and molecules into cells, and cells into thought. There is something soothing about that. To know that behind all the noise, beneath all the motion, there is order. A framework that does not ask to be seen, but is always there, cradling galaxies, carrying light, holding you. Even when you don't feel it, the web holds firm. Even when everything seems still, you are gently moving. The fabric of reality does not fray. It expands. And as it expands, new space is created. Not pushed into, not stretched thin, but born, like the silence between notes in a song. Like the pause between dreams, and somewhere in that newly made space, a star sighs its last breath, and something beautiful begins again. You are lying still, yet inside you, entire histories are quietly unfolding. Your breath, your blood, your bones, they carry more than just life. They carry age. Not the kind counted in birthdays, but in billions of years. In explosions. In the silent, glowing depths of ancient stars. You were made of stardust. Not metaphorically. Not romantically. Literally. The oxygen in your lungs was once fused in the belly of a star. The calcium in your teeth, the iron in your blood, the carbon in your cells, all forged in the heat of stellar furnaces. Those stars lived their lives long before Earth cooled enough to hold oceans. They burned, collapsed, and scattered themselves across the cosmos. And from that cosmic ash, you emerged. It begins with a star, young and hungry. In its core, atoms crash into one another, fusing to make heavier elements. Hydrogen becomes helium. Helium becomes carbon. Layer upon layer, the star builds itself inward and outward, burning hotter as it ages. Eventually, a star like our sun will run out of fuel. It will swell into a red giant, shedding its outer layers like petals in the wind. What's left behind is a white dwarf, small, dense, slowly cooling. But larger stars end more violently. They explode. Supernovae. These are not just deaths, they are cosmic births. In a flash of unimaginable brightness, the star throws out all it has made. Gold, iron, nickel, sulfur, copper. Elements that never existed before, now scattered into the night. And that dust drifts. Slowly, silently across space. It gathers in clouds. In gas and dust and gravity. Over time, these clouds collapse into new stars, new planets, new chances. You are one of those chances. Every cell in your body is a record of that process. Your heart pulses with atoms from long-gone stars. Your brain thinks using carbon and phosphorus born in stellar heat. You don't just live in the universe. You are the universe remembering itself. Sleep then becomes more than rest. It becomes return. When you lie down, you fold back into the deep pattern from which you came. Stardust reshaped into thought, now slipping back into silence. And it's not just you. Every bird, every mountain, every tree, every living thing shares this origin. The entire biosphere is a collage of borrowed atoms. This morning, you drank water that may have passed through the lungs of dinosaurs. You breathed oxygen once part of a volcano's plume. The calcium in your bones may have belonged, long ago, to coral reefs or to the bones of creatures who walked beneath different stars. There is no separation in the cosmic cycle. Only transformation. And the universe recycles perfectly. Nothing is wasted. No particle forgotten. Even stars that no longer shine leave behind their fingerprints. Neutron stars, dense cores left after a supernova, spin like silent beacons in the dark. Black holes, too, are graves that still shape space around them, tugging on the fabric long after their light is gone. And still, dust continues to fall. Tiny grains of ancient rock drift through our atmosphere every night. You may have seen one once, a meteor streaking across the sky, burning brightly for a second before vanishing. That flash is stardust returning to Earth. A brief reminder of what lingers above us. And below us too. The Earth itself was born from this dust. Collisions of rock and metal, gravity pressing material into a sphere. And inside it, iron from dead stars. The same iron that now carries oxygen through your blood. You are not from here. You are of everywhere. The universe did not place you in it. It grew you from itself. You are an echo of supernovae, an arrangement of elements that thinks and breathes and wonders. Even your emotions, so soft, so personal, are carried on molecules that were once locked in stars. This is not meant to make you feel small. It is meant to show how deeply connected you are. When you love, when you dream, when you rest, it is not apart from the universe. It is the universe continuing its rhythm, its music, through you. So sleep is not escape. It is participation. It is the moment when the self loosens and the stardust within you remembers where it came from. Tonight, as your muscles soften and your thoughts slow, let that idea cradle you. You are ancient. You are made of light that lived and died and lived again. You are not alone, not in your body, not in your history. Every breath is shared. Every cell is borrowed. Every heartbeat echoes with the pulse of stars. And just like stars, you burn softly, steadily. Not with fire, but with awareness. You think, you imagine, you remember. And that, too, is a kind of light. When you close your eyes, you are not shutting the world out. You are turning towards something deeper, toward the glowing past inside you. You may not remember your origin, but your atoms do. They carry the weight and wonder of cosmic ages. They have flown through space. They have burned in heat. They have rested in oceans. They have become leaves and feathers and fire. And now they are you. For a while. And one day they will move on again. Not in fear. Not in loss. Just in continuation. Because nothing in the universe truly ends. It just changes shape. And in the quiet space between those changes, You feel the universe expanding around you, stretching softly, carrying you with it towards something new. You lie still, but the space beneath you is not still at all. It's growing. Not in a way you can feel, not in a way that shifts your bed or pulls on your limbs. But slowly, quietly, the space between things stretches. The room between galaxies expands. The fabric of the universe gently unrolls itself like a scroll written in silence. This is not an explosion. It is not chaos. It is a slow unfolding. Imagine a balloon with dots drawn across its surface. As the balloon inflates, the dots move apart. Not because they're moving, but because the space between them is growing. This is what the universe does. The galaxies are not racing through space, they are being carried by space. You are being carried too. Every second, the universe expands a little more. The stars do not notice. The planets spin as they always have. But across the great gaps between galaxy clusters, space stretches. And what once was close becomes far. This expansion began at the very beginning in that first whisper of light. From the moment the Big Bang exhaled, space has been expanding. And not slowly. Faster than you might think. In fact, it's speeding up. This was a surprise to astronomers. For years, they believed gravity would slow the expansion. That eventually the universe might stop growing or even collapse inward. But then they looked closely at the light from faraway galaxies. And what they found was stranger. The light was redder than expected. Redder means farther. Farther means faster. Something was pushing everything apart. This invisible force, this silent pressure, was named dark energy. We don't know what it is. We only know what it does. It causes space to stretch faster and faster. Not just at the edges, but everywhere. You too are part of that stretching. Your body is not pulled apart. The expansion is too gentle, too large scale. But the space around you grows. The universe grows. You are in the music of motion. It's not a sound you can hear, but if expansion had a tone, it would be deep and soft. A slow rising hum. Not unlike a cello played in an empty room. Not unlike the breath of someone just beginning to fall asleep. You may wonder if everything is expanding, why don't we notice? It's because we are bound. Gravity holds our solar system together. Holds the Earth close to the sun. Holds you to the ground. These bonds are stronger than the stretch. But in the vast spaces between galaxies where gravity loosens its grip, the expansion takes hold. There, space grows like bread rising in a warm oven, slowly, steadily, without pause. And what grows is not just distance, but possibility. New space means more room for light to travel. More silence to be filled. More time for stars to live, to burn, to rest. You are living in a universe that is making more of itself every moment. And yet, this growth is not noisy. It does not demand attention. It is the softest kind of creation, the kind that happens while you sleep. Close your eyes and imagine the galaxies drifting. Not crashing. Not fleeing. Just moving with the current. Each one a swirl of stars quietly turning like leaves carried by a slow-moving river. You are not apart from this motion. You move with it. Your planet rides a wave of time. Your breath expands the air in your lungs. Even your dreams drift through a mind shaped by distance and light. Expansion is not destruction. It is space being generous. It is the universe making room. And this expansion, this outward breath, doesn't just carry matter. It carries memory. The farther we look, the deeper into time we see. Light from early galaxies takes billions of years to reach us. That means every corner of the night sky is a story still arriving. And because space is stretching, even that light is pulled. Like paint smeared across canvas. Like a song played slower and softer. That is why the universe glows in microwaves. The ancient light has been stretched into a whisper. So when you look up and see stars, you are not seeing there now. You were seeing there before. And the space between you grows larger by the second. But don't let that feel like loss. Let it feel like breath. Inhale. The space between atoms holds you. Exhale. You drift like the galaxies. Softly, invisibly onward. You are not fixed. You are part of the song. And the universe continues to sing, expanding into a silence that never ends. And somewhere, between the growing galaxies, between the stretch of time and the hush of space, there is a shadow forming, quiet and unseen. A shape made not of stars, but of something hidden, something waiting. You lie in the dark, and above you, the universe glows. Stars shimmer, galaxies spin, light travels like threads through the black. But behind the glow, behind the visible, is something more. Something silent. Something no I can see. It is called dark matter. Not because it is evil, or threatening, or mysterious in a way that frightens. But because it does not shine. It does not reflect light, does not emit heat. It passes through your body, through the earth, through the heart of stars, as though neither you nor they were even there. And yet it is everywhere. More than stars, more than planets, more than all the glowing galaxies combined, dark matter is what the universe is mostly made of. Everything you see is only a small sliver. A tip of an iceberg in an ocean of invisible weight. You rest now, not just on your bed, not just on the planet beneath it, but in a vast sea of unseen matter. You do not feel it. You do not touch it. But your existence depends on it. Dark matter holds galaxies together. Without it, the stars would not stay bound. They spin too fast, move too wildly. If gravity came only from the visible, they would scatter like leaves in the wind. But they don't. They stay, they orbit, they dance. Something is keeping them close. That something is dark matter. Imagine holding a snow globe. Inside, stars whirl. And around them, a shell glass you can't see, but that holds the scene together. That invisible shell is what dark matter does. It wraps galaxies, surrounds clusters, cradles the cosmos. We don't know what it's made of. Some think it's particles that hardly interact with regular matter. Others imagine it as something more exotic, axions, sterile neutrinos, things that whisper in equations but never appear in experiments. We have never seen dark matter directly. But we see what it does. We see its pull, its shape, its quiet fingerprints on the fabric of space. When light from a distant galaxy passes by a cluster of dark matter, it bends. Not because light is changing course on its own, but because space itself has been curved. That bending, called gravitational lensing, reveals the shadow's outline. A map of mass with no glow. It's like watching wind by the way it moves the grass. You never see the wind, but you see where it's been. This is how we know dark matter exists. The way galaxies rotate. The way light curves. The way the universe formed itself. Without dark matter, the early universe would not have grown structure so quickly. Gas alone would not have clumped into stars, not in time for galaxies to shine. But dark matter gathered first, pulling normal matter toward it like quiet scaffolding. It built the skeleton of the cosmos. And now that skeleton holds you. You lie inside a galaxy, your galaxy, that spirals and turns and glows. But surrounding that disk is a dark halo. A vast, invisible cocoon that reaches far beyond the stars. Without it, the galaxy would come apart. Even as you sleep, that halo holds you in place. You cannot escape it. But neither can you feel it. It does not touch your skin or warm your fingers. It is the quietest kind of presence, the kind that needs no sound, no light, to be real. And it is not alone. The cosmos is not made mostly of stars. Only about 5% of the universe is normal matter, the kind that makes planets and people and books and rain. About 27% is dark matter. And the rest, the largest part, is something stranger still, dark energy. You remember dark energy from before, the force that pushes space to expand. But dark matter? It pulls. It binds. It shapes. The two do not cancel each other. They dance. One stretches, one holds. One hums outward, one curls inward. And between them, galaxies find balance. Like birds gliding on rising winds. You were once such galaxies, child. A life born of matter that glows, but held in place by matter that doesn't. It's humbling, isn't it? That what we see is not all there is. That your body, your sky, your world are shaped by what can't be touched. But it's also comforting, because it reminds you that not all things need to be seen to be real. There is space in your heart for love that has no proof. There is room in your memories for things not caught on camera. There are truths that live in the dark. And in that darkness, you are not alone. The same silence that fills the gaps between stars also fills the quiet between your thoughts. That hush before sleep? That soft pause in your breath? It too is held by something unseen. Dark matter is not a mystery meant to scare. It is a reminder. A whisper from the cosmos that what matters most often lies just beyond view. So tonight, you float in it. Not aware, not afraid, just resting. Resting in the soft pull of an invisible net. Resting in the gravity of shadows. Resting in a truth that does not need light to be beautiful. You do not need to understand everything to belong to it. You already do. And as you begin to drift, the stars above drift too, held in invisible arms. And beyond even that, beyond stars, beyond shadows, something gentler is pulling you closer still. A force you felt every day of your life, but never quite seen. You feel it now. That quiet pull anchoring you to the mattress. A heaviness not of exhaustion, but of belonging. Your body surrenders to it with each exhale. It's not loud. It doesn't demand. But gravity is always there, tugging, embracing, holding you still. Most days, you forget it's working. You don't notice how it keeps your feet on the floor, your tea in its cup, the moon in its orbit. You only feel it when it changes on an airplane, or in a falling dream, or when something slips from your hands. But gravity never stops working. It is the most familiar of forces. And still, it holds secrets. It doesn't push like wind. It doesn't jolt like electricity. It simply attracts. Quietly. Universally. Every bit of matter pulls on every other. Even you. Right now, your body is pulling on the earth. The earth is pulling on you. You are locked together in a mutual embrace. And yet, gravity isn't just about staying grounded. It shapes the cosmos. Planets orbit stars because of gravity. Stars cluster into galaxies because of gravity. Galaxies swirl and collide and stretch across space because gravity whispers from afar, gently rearranging everything. Even time listens to gravity. We've spoken before of how gravity can slow the ticking of a clock. The closer you are to a strong gravitational source, the slower time flows. Near a black hole, time all but pauses. But it's not just time. Light, too, obeys. When light climbs out of a gravitational field, it loses energy. It doesn't stop, it can't, but it stretches. It reddens. The color shifts ever so slightly, like a song slowed by distance. This is gravitational redshift. Not something you'll notice with your eyes, but the universe feels it. Gravity curves space. It creates valleys in the fabric of space-time. Light, always moving forward, must follow these curves. That's why it bends near stars. Why starlight seems to shimmer when it brushes too close to the sun. Gravity doesn't trap the light, it guides it. Like a hand on the back of a paperboat steering without force. That's what gravity is. A guide. A gentle sculptor. It carves orbits from chaos. Turns drifting dust into planets. Brings scattered gas together until stars ignite. It teaches matter to gather, to stay, to spin. And yet, it is the weakest of the four fundamental forces. Weaker than magnetism. Weaker than the nuclear bonds that hold atoms together. And still, it reaches across the greatest distances. It never stops. You can block a beam of light with a hand. But nothing blocks gravity. That's why the moon stays with us. Why tides rise and fall. Why your arms fall softly back to your side when you stop lifting. You don't need to do anything. Gravity is the constant lullaby beneath all things. Even black holes, the most intense examples of gravity, begin softly just as stars. When massive stars run out of fuel, their cores collapse. Gravity folds them inward until not even light can escape. But even then, their gravity continues outward. A presence without a voice. And Earth, small and quiet compared to such giants, still sings its own gravitational song. Right now, the planet pulls on you with the same force it always has. Not because you are heavy, but because you are here. Gravity is not about weight. It's about nearness. Everything near you is pulling on you, in miniature. The walls. The trees outside. The stars, if you could feel their distant touch. You live in a web of gentle tugs. And you, too, are part of it. Your body has mass. Your mass has gravity. You are not only pulled, you pull back. You are woven into the balance. Imagine the universe not as a place of things, but of relationships. A conversation of pulls and responses. Gravity is the sentence that everything speaks in silence. You are never floating freely. You are always being held. And perhaps that's what makes sleep feel safe. That feeling of sinking is gravity saying, you are home. You are where you belong. And even your dreams drift downward, tethered softly to the turning earth. You don't fall into sleep. You are gently pulled. And as your body becomes heavier, your thoughts become lighter. You feel the weight of existence ease into the bed and the lightness of imagination begin to rise. Gravity never lets go. But it doesn't hold you tight. It only asks you to stay close. And as you do, the stars continue circling. The moon continues listening. The pull of planets, of galaxies, of all things unseen continues. And in the stillness, when gravity has lulled every muscle to stillness, you begin to hear again, not with ears, but with presence. The softest echo of all. Not just around you, but within you. An echo you felt your whole life and perhaps never noticed. You lie in perfect quiet. And yet, the quiet is not empty. It is filled with subtle vibrations. Too low for your ears, too old for your language. But there, beneath sound, beneath thought, a hum that doesn't move through the air, but through time, through space, through you. It has always been there. You were born inside it. You grew up carried by it. You fall asleep tonight wrapped in its presence. Even if you never noticed before, you are listening now, not with your ears, but with your whole being. There is a rhythm behind everything. A cosmic pulse. The slow echo of the Big Bang, stretched thin by expansion, cooled by time, woven into the structure of space. It is not noise. It is not silence. It is something in between. Scientists call it the cosmic microwave background, the CMB. But that name is too small for what it really is. It's not just radiation. It's memory, a fingerprint pressed into everything that exists. And the incredible part? You are sensitive to it. Not in the way an antenna is tuned. Not in a way that can be measured with skin or ears. But in the way a tree knows when to turn its leaves. In the way a tide knows when to rise. There is something inside you, your atoms, your chemistry, your electric life, that has been shaped by that long ago moment. The Big Bang was not just a beginning. It was a vibration, a swelling, and those first ripples are still rolling outward. Your body listens to those ripples all the time. When your heart finds its rhythm, when your breath slows into sleep, when your thoughts scatter, and the quiet becomes deep enough to feel something you can't name. That is listening. Every living thing is shaped by it. Every crystal, every cloud, every fold of DNA carries a trace of the original conditions, the pressure, the density, the background radiation of a younger cosmos. Like a photograph developing in a quiet room, the universe slowly revealed itself. And you are part of the image. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to analyze it. You only have to be here, breathing, resting, open. And as you lie still, you begin to notice. You are not separate from the universe. You are one of its senses. Your thoughts are how it observes itself. Your dreams are how it imagines. Your quiet presence, here now, is how it remembers. When you listen with your whole being, you begin to hear echoes of scale. That the same spirals found in galaxies shape your inner ear. That the same golden ratio appears in snail shells and spiral arms of stars. That the laws guiding a falling leaf also govern the fall of moons. There is no outside and inside, only layers. Your skin does not end you, it includes you. The space around you is not other, it is also you. Because everything that touches you becomes you. Oxygen, light, warmth, memory. And those touches are ancient. Some of the particles in your lungs were once breathed by trees. Some of the calcium in your teeth came from ocean bones. And some of the energy that fuels your body, burns in your cells, was formed when the universe was still afire. Even now, the atoms inside you vibrate with that inherited warmth. The low-level energy of creation, still present, still humming. You are not cold space. You are the echo of fire. That fire has cooled but not vanished. The CMB, that soft glow of the past, still surrounds you. It is the light that has aged so much it can no longer be seen. Not with eyes, but its presence shapes your reality. Your measurements, your boundaries. It marks the edge of what we can observe, the limit of how far we can see. But beyond that edge, maybe more light, maybe more silence, maybe something we don't yet have words for. And still, you are connected. You've always been connected. From the moment the universe opened its eyes, you were possible. All the ingredients were there, scattered across time, waiting to be assembled. And tonight, you rest in the middle of it all. Not in the center by location, but by participation. The universe flows through you, and you respond. You are not just a body on a bed. You are stardust remembering its own light. You are gravity learning to let go. You are breath warmed by ancient fire. And even as you fall asleep, something listens through you. The universe, perhaps, or the part of you that has no name. The part that doesn't worry. The part that doesn't measure. The part that only feels. That part has always been listening, not just to sound, but to rhythm, to motion, to the stillness behind motion. It listens to the curve of time, to the quiet pull of planets, to the way the stars arrange themselves without needing to ask how. So tonight, you let go of needing answers. You let the questions drift with you. What came before the beginning? What waits at the edge of expansion? Where do dreams go when they end? You don't have to know. You only have to rest. Because your rest is not separate from the universe. It is part of its exhale. And as your thoughts fade, the hum remains. The glow remains. The slow, soft music of everything continues. You are listening with your whole being. And in that listening, you have become part of the song. A note in the quiet, a breath in the vastness, a warmth in the dark. And somewhere, quietly, endlessly, Lovingly, the universe listens back. Ask ChatGPT.